Like a frustrated guy, Dick Johnson. You've been through the highs and the lows. He's going through more lows than highs at the moment.
Well, he certainly is, and give the guy credit where it's due, because he's obviously achieved an awful lot on bikes, but to come into this game and mix it with these guys is not an easy task, I can tell you.
TCM cars warming up to get ready for this first race. 12 laps. Here's the points, and John Bowe, the reigning champ, leads 41 back to Jimmy Richards in the Ford Falcon Sprint. Andrew Medicki, they've had some engine dramas with the big Camaro this weekend, but he's third in points. And Greg Crick, who is on board the Charger, he starts from P5 in this race. But all those guys in the title fight are not pole.
No,
Keith Kasuki, he's not there for the points at the moment. Yes, he's running the full series, but he's gazumped them all.
Well, where have you seen Jimmy Richards so far down the grid before? Like,
not very often.
He's in the Falcon Sprint, which is a really tough little car, but at the end of the day, this is a very competitive series as well, and if you qualify badly, you make the job very, very hard for yourself.
Have a look inside some of these cars. They look way better than they did back in the day. Les Walmsley is back this weekend in the Falcon. In fact, in the Monaro, I should say. There he is, the 99 car. A couple of new competitors coming in. A new car, Tony Karanfilovski's debuting a new Mustang that Glenn Seaton's had a bit of involvement in the testing and the prep of that car. And in fact, the car that's on pole, Keith Kasuki's car, is the car we saw Glenn drive, remember, a couple of years ago in TCM. It's a shame that he's not racing with us at the moment, but some pretty heavy hardware at the front of this grid, and if you're not in a V8, you ain't in it.
Well, Kozlowski's car, I tell you what, that is a beautifully prepared motor car, the way it has been built. I think it was built by FPO originally, and Seaton drove it for quite a number of meetings, and it's now been developed into something. Obviously, if it's going to give Bowie a good run for his money, well,
it's got to be a good thing.
It's got to be a good thing.
Yeah, we've been here twice before with TCM, 2009 and last year, and John Bowe was the man who clean swept last year. He is a winner of 4 of the 6 races. Jimmy Richards has won the 2 others. It's round 4 of Touring Car Masters this weekend. And the last couple of cars lining up. Down the back, actually, Leo Tobin making his debut in the HQ Monaro there, right of screen. That's the ex-Matt O'Brien car that's had a complete overhaul to be on the grid. So, Falcon and Mustang, Tirana and Camaro, Charger and Mustang. Look for those Porsches in the middle of the pack too.
Ford and GM, see? And there goes Bowie. Like, I knew he's probably qualified there on purpose so he could get a good run off the line.
Part of the strategy, you reckon?
Well, he doesn't like coming second, I know that.
No, he doesn't. He's the reigning champion, and he's taken the lead down to turn 1. It's a bit of a smaller field for TCM this weekend. We've lost Chris Stillwell. His car's had engine problems, so he's been sidelined, but it's John Bowe to the lead. We jump on board with Greg Crick, Tasmania's finest. Oh, Graham Alexander out through the dirt. And have a listen to these things sing.
So much more horsepower than they ever had originally, and it's sad to see that a couple of them are having engine dramas, because they shouldn't these days because of the way they prepare them.
But they are pushing the envelope, and there's some serious wedge being spent on some of these power plants.
He doesn't mind the limiter either.
No, that was getting right up there, but it's Bowe who leads, Kasuki next, then it's Andrew Medicki, Jason Gomersel in that SLR 5000 Tirana. There he is, the blue and white car with the pressure from Les Walmsley behind. Mark King's out wide. He got to the dirt.
Yep. Mark King's driving this weekend. He's got a disc out on his back, so he said he's half comfortable in the car, but getting in and out is the biggest problem.
Oh, he's half comfortable. What's the other half? Uncomfortable, I reckon.
Obviously.
Look at Jimmy Richards. He's miles back here. Here's Shannon's Falcon.
That car's normally, a lot quicker than this, but this is a very unique circuit, and which really does promote very good racing.
Cross the line. 1 lap in the books. There is Mark King in the Camaro. That's the Bob Middleton owned car. Jimmy Richards will have a look here, but top 2 starting to clear away.
I think it's consistency. Like, Bowie's very consistent in the way he drives, because he doesn't cover his lines much, does he? But that Falcon, because the Mustang's had like a little 302 and the Falcon's got a 351 Cleveland in it, so obviously it should have a little bit more steam in a straight line.
And Jimmy Richards here, that Falcon's a 289, but it is lighter, it doesn't have the power, but it pretty much evens out. But he's not having the sort of weekend this weekend that we're used to seeing. Fight for third actually is getting pretty close here with a nice mix of cars.
Medecky.
Back on board with Greg Crick. That's Tony Karafilovsky off the road. Don't treat the new car like that.
And it's good to see further down the field that, you know, the times that they're doing is obviously as quick as the guys up the front. But unless you qualify up there, you make it hard for yourself.
Greg King in that yellow sports bed Porsche is going with those V8s and 8th overall. Remember this, there's actually 2 classes in TCM. Class A for over 5.1 litres and Class B Pro Sportsman is for cars that are below that in terms of their engine capacity. We jump back aboard with Les Walmsley, who's working that wheel pretty hard.
Isn't he? See, they don't have the fancy sequential gearboxes like V8 supercars and all that. And obviously the brakes and tyres are somewhat different. So they're fairly difficult to drive, these type cars.
Now,
he's having a go at Bowie.
Under pressure. Keith Kasuki, who is in this XB Coupe, he flies in every round from Papua New Guinea. And he's really flying this weekend.
See, this is where Bowie gets the advantages under brakes and certainly the handling of the car. But Kaflowski, I think you'll find in a straight line is somewhat quicker than the little 302 Mustang.
Oh, Walmsley got the curb at turn 5. But gets away with it.
Yep.
For the moment anyway. And he's keeping that pressure
on Crick. Medecky.
It's pretty close between these guys.
Absolutely. Like Andrew Medecky's been around for a long time too. He's been around as long as JB. Because
that is a long time.
That is a long time. They used to run against one another in open wheelers and things going way back.
I think they ran into one another a few times as well.
We won't go down that road. That's a very contentious point, I believe.
1/3 race distance. He's not afraid to use all the real estate, Les Walmsley, in this car, which we haven't seen him run since Perth. Dick Savvy looks after this car. He prepares a range of the cars in Touring Car Masters. Formerly ran John Bow's Mustang, but he's one of the really noted and sought-after car preparers and in the paddock. There's not many revs left in that thing.
There's none in that gear anyway. But I tell you what, he's got his hands full for the simple reason he's leaving his gear changes fairly late, so we can actually have both hands on the wheel because it's dead set a handful.
That's what we like. These things, they slide. They don't do everything perfectly well. They've got lots of power.
I tell you what, he's really giving Andrew Medecky a good hurry up here.
Jason Gomers's not too far away in that SLR 5000 Tirana.
And it's good to see they're allowing some of the later models to come in recent times. And, years ago. Not a good place to sort of be on the outside, I don't think.
Andrew Ricci holds the lap record here for TCM, a 1:17.48. They're actually not quite at that sort of pace. They're about a second away from what they're running at the moment. Of course, this place is so sensitive to temperature changes and UV and the like, which you could turn up here for a test day one day and be a world champion and come back a week later and be nowhere.
Well, exactly. And besides that, it changes throughout the day. You know, like when you come here in the morning, you know, you find out you sort of get a reasonable time in. But then let me tell you, when it starts warming up, it gets terrible.
It's warming up in TCM. John Bow out in front. We're approaching half race distance. Good day to be a Ford fan. Touring Car Masters Race 1. It's a Mustang that leads. It's a Falcon second, and it's a margin back to anything with a GM badge on it. Andrew Medecky is next best. There he is, third spot in the Chevy Camaro. Jason Gomersel in the Tirana SLR 5000. And if you're a Charger fan, we are catering today for those who are not of the Holden, Ford, Chevrolet persuasion. Greg Crick's behind the wheel and sitting P6. And this footwell's a bit more funkier than the Charger that you would have had in the 70s.
Oh, my goodness, I tell you, when you see that, it brings back memories when you've got to keep tapping the brake pedal to make sure you've got something when you get there.
Not good memories.
No, not good memories, no. And things have advanced somewhat since then, too.
You never drove a Charger, did you?
No, I didn't drive a Charger, not at all, but I drove things with a brake pedal like putting your foot in a bowl of custard, so...
Crickie's going okay here, 6 at the moment. Tony Karafilovsky just behind in that brand new Mustang.
It's a beautiful
lots of time working on that car. We saw him, remember, in an Alfa many moons ago. Then he jumped into a Falcon. Now he's gone to a Mustang. So he's been stepping it up every time he moves cars. I wonder how the brakes are. We'll get a good view of this. Not bad.
They're doing all right. The thing is that these particular cars, as I say, they're still fairly heavy, so they give the brakes a good workout. And as you see Bowie up the front, well, he's doing what he has to just to stay in front. He's not exactly running away with it.
Remember, too, that we've talked about in the past that TCM, the cars, the drivers, are subject to ballast and also rev reductions and the like. If you're going too good, they'll give you a couple here and there. But as you start, if you don't finish in the top three, you start to get the weight taken out and you start to get the revs back. But John Bowe keeps winning, so he keeps getting weight, he keeps losing revs. There's got to be a point somewhere where he doesn't keep winning.
Is that why Jim Richards is way back in ninth?
Shouldn't be, because he certainly hasn't been running at the front like he has been in years gone by in the series so far. He did win a race at Barbagallo earlier on in the year, but that's the only one of the years so far. So a little bit strange that Jimmy's further back. Ninth. There he is, Shannon's Falcon. Long way back.
Yeah. And maybe they'll take probably about a couple of 100 kilos out of the car and give him another couple of thousand revs and he'll be right up there.
Having a look here at Gary O'Brien in the number 8 HQ from Bendigo in Victoria. New shocks for this car, and it is for sale as well. So travelling along pretty well, chasing down Steve Mason, who's been a champion in TCM before, but is now running in the pro sportsman class in that really nice 66 Mustang Fastback. And he's trying to put a move here. There he is down the inside on Graham Alexander into Monaro. Battle of the brakes.
They're still very evenly matched, really, in a straight line, most of these cars too, which, except for the little old Porsches and that, which I see Rusty French is down there in a Porsche again.
Yeah.
By Jove, he's been around, well, I think, even longer than Bowie.
That is a very long time. Former GT champ back at the Porsche 935s. We've seen him in Carrera Cup. He raced at Le Mans. He's very much been a Porsche man over the years as Rusty, and he's co-owner now of Ford Performance Racing, remember, too, with Rod Nash, so he's very much involved. This is inside Les Walmsley's Monaro. It's going to do some work here, and have a look at those brake discs. They're glowing. And have a look at this. There is plenty of load going through these cars, and this track is smoother than it used to be.
It is. It's only recently been resurfaced, and actually when they do resurface something like this, it really makes it a fair bit quicker than what it used to be, because they've taken out a lot of the bumps because they were really upsetting the car, especially into turn 3.
And that's where we are right now as he keeps this pressure on Andrew Mediki. We're on lap 10 of 12, first race of the weekend for Touring Car Masters, and we've got a pretty busy schedule in the back half of the year. The Muscle Car Masters at Sydney Motorsport Park that they're a feature part of. They'll be with us at the Sandown 500, which that's a great venue for these cars. Bathurst, of course, the spiritual home of Aussie touring car racing, and Phillip Island in November will round out their season for 2013. So some really good tracks that suit these cars coming up.
Look, Pricky's got his hands full here because I'll let you pronounce it, but...
Tony Karanfilovsky?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. He's looking pretty racy.
He is. That is just a beautifully prepared motor car.
Oh, Jason Gomersall, where are you going? Long way around. That's the very late exit, very late apex. SLR 5000 Tirana. That's one of those cars that you spoke of that they just opened up the year range for cars a year or so ago, to which basically allows more of the Aussie muscle cars in. That's William Vining Fell will be down the road and getting going again. No one's going to be on the scene there. So he's a young guy who's come into the series in that 64 Mustang this year.
Sideways.
Tony Karanfilovsky not afraid to use up this car.
Absolutely.
Once upon a time was an alpha man, but this is a step up.
Well, he's got twice the amount of cylinders his alpha had.
Probably about 5 times the speed down the straight as well. But it's like an arm wrestle at the moment. No one's really got enough to do anything about the guy in front.
Bowie seems to have everything under control, and because the Falcon's a lot heavier vehicle, I think you'll find over a race distance it will sort of fall off the pace a little bit.
And we talk about weights. John Bowe's Mustang at the moment is 1,680 kilograms for that car. They're big cars still.
Yeah, and he's still, because it's, weighted down that much, obviously it's slowed him down somewhat, but at the end of the day, he still finds ways of winning, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He's been a champion just about everything he's driven. Open wheelers, touring cars with your team, the 95 Australian touring car champ. Couple of wins at Bathurst between you two. One of the dream team combos of Aussie motor racing. and he's still going. We're not going to get him to ever stop racing,
No,
are we?
I know. 11 years of it I had with him.
And you paid him for it too.
He would always say not enough. But he's on the last lap now, and he's obviously just having a fairly bit of a cruise, I would suggest.
As much as we joke about it, that was a really good partnership that really gave you lots of wins, lots of poles, and lots of good times too.
Fantastic times, you know, and he's still a really good friend.
And he's still running with number 18.
Oh, yeah, he won't give that up.
He's the champion. He's allowed to run number 1, but he doesn't run 1.
No.
Oh, well, if you're on a good thing, you stick with it. And
he did one year. He did one year. In 96, he did.
He did. Worked really well for the mile for him, didn't it?
Yeah. Or not.
Ended up in the scenery there. But he's on his way home here to kick off the weekend for Touring Car Masters in the style that he's becoming accustomed. He clean swept the last round at Hidden Valley in Darwin. He's won plenty of races at this place in the past as well, and he's the championship leader. So he'll extend the margin. Another 60 points in the kit bag for John Bowe. The Hall of Famer picks up another race win in TCM at Queensland Raceway. Keith Kasulki, though, I'm giving him man of the match. Pole position for the first time. Second, only a second and a half down the road. Great job.
Great job. And I tell you what, he'll give him a good run for his money at Sandown, because the straights are much longer, and certainly at Bathurst, I think you'll find that the Falcon will really give Bowie a bit of a workout.
So it's a Mustang first, it's a Falcon second, Camaro third from Monaro, Charger fifth, Mustang, Tirana, Falcon, Monaro and Camaro rounding out the top 10. A very interesting Touring Car Masters race, but it's John Bowe again who stands tall. Mark King rounds out the top 10. We'll take a break. We're on the countdown to the V8 Supercars in the next race, Coates Hire Ipswich 360.